We've been talking all morning about this first anniversary of the BP oil spill and the impact that it's had on the Gulf Coast. CBS News correspondent and resident veterinarian Dr. Debbye Turner Bell recently spent some time in the Gulf to see how the animals are doing there 1 year later. Good morning, Debbie.
Good morning to you, Chris. Well, the Gulf of Mexico is one of the country's most important habitats for birds. More than 300 species live or pass through the Gulf. In fact, there are 34 federally protected species that call the Gulf home. So, when the oil polluted this fragile ecosystem, many experts feared that the wildlife might never fully recover. And on this first anniversary, there is some good news and some not so good news.
These images showed the devastation that the largest oil spill in U.S. history wreaked on the wildlife in the Gulf of Mexico last year. More than 600 oiled brown pelicans were cleaned and released last summer out of harm's way. Some here in southeastern Georgia. They migrated south for the winter, but experts wondered what would become of them.
We had no idea whether these pelicans would survive the winter.
Biologist Tim Keyes has eagerly awaited this sight, a red band around a pelican's leg, the mark of an oil spill survivor.
The fact that they've made it this far, they've survived a winter, which is typically a stressful time for pelicans, and made it back here, migrating back north, is all good signs.
A glimmer of good news after months of bad reports. More than 8,000 birds, 1,000 sea turtles, and 100 dolphins and whales were found visibly oiled or dead in the months after the oil spill. Today, this is what the pelican's original home in Louisiana looks and sounds like. Air cannons in Barataria Bay keep birds away from marshes still soaked in oil. This is state biologist Todd Baker's territory. Does it just drive you crazy that a year later, this still looks this bad?
Well, it's unacceptable that a year later, we're still looking at mobile oil. You're still seeing sheens. You're still seeing crabs and small little animals crawling through this mess.
In numbers, birds top the list of the dead, but experts believe endangered sea turtles may have been hit the hardest.
They looked like they had been dipped in rich chocolate mousse.
It has taken 10 months for these 30 rescued sea turtles to heal from infections and broken bones. They were cared for by veterinarian Dr. Cara Field at the Audubon Nature Institute in New Orleans.
They've really come a long way, and we're very happy with their progress.
Now they are finally ready to be released, but experts are questioning the health of the Gulf after an unusually high spike in dolphin strandings along the coast. Since January, more than 170 have been found dead, nearly half of them babies. This is evidence. Here in these freezers at the Institute for Marine Mammal Studies, thousands of samples await testing by the federal government to determine the exact cause of death. It seems mighty suspicious that in the first calving season after this huge oil spill, you have this high mortality.
In the public's mind, the connection is there, and that is why it's frustrating that we don't have the results that we should have to be able to mitigate these issues or answer these tough questions.
Cleanup here in Barataria Bay will take years, and it may be even longer before we know just how much damage was done to the Gulf's vital ecosystem. We came upon this injured frigate bird, just rescued, with oil on it.
Whenever they come impaired or whatnot, they seek refuge on the first piece of land they can to get out of the water. This bird found a tar ball field.
It is a heartbreaking reminder that this disaster isn't finished claiming its victims.
And the reality is we may never really know the true death toll. Some experts say it could be 50 times higher than what's reported. However, Chris, experts believe that the Gulf can recover if we as humans are responsible.
Just going to take some time. How much oil did you see in Barataria Bay when you were there?
I was shocked. I actually saw oil oozing up out of the ground. I dug down in it. No matter how deeply I dug, I saw oil. It really was amazing.
Any idea how long it's going to take to find out the cause of death with those dolphins?
Well, the government has put a gag order on the results, and we might not find out until the government's case against BP goes to court, and that could be years from now.
It's tough to see.
Yeah.
But that Audubon, I mean, the Nature Institute, they're doing a heck of a job.
There's some good news there, too.
Debbie, thank you.